everybody, and welcome back to Flock's Nest Sports Podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, repping 52, Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens.
As always, on the other half, Brendan repping 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks.
We got a great episode for you guys today. We got a lot going on. Obviously, we kind of messed up last week and with everything, so we're getting back into hockey and basketball news. So this week we are going to be covering the NHL and talking some of the things going on around that league and how it's going. Of course, we're still in the midst of college football playoffs, so we're going to talk that. I know both Brendan and I watched those games this past week. And, of course, we're going to talk NFL and their playoffs, as well as some of the breaking news that's going on around the league and how that impacts our teams, and all of that other fun stuff. So let's jump right in. As always, starting with...
Yeah, so it's been a while. I think we haven't covered the vast majority of the trades that haven't happened, because there have been a couple. So we'll just quickly hit the trades, and then we'll talk kind of what's going on in the season. First trade, kind of an interesting one. The Seattle Kraken are sending Mason Marchment to the Columbus Blue Jackets for a 2027 second-round pick and a 2026 fourth. I find this one interesting because I think if you were to look at the standings, the Blue Jackets are not very good. So why they're trading picks, I don't know. Is really the...
Look, I understand why the Kraken are trying to get picks. I do not understand why the Jackets think they can get rid of them.
Yeah. That's a choice. And even the Kraken are doing all right this year, so, fair enough to them, I guess. But this one doesn't make a ton of sense. I personally don't like Mason Marchment anyway. I think he's a dick. And he has a very punchable face. But beyond that, who cares?
You're not wrong. Right? I feel that way about Tom Wilson, so it's it's hard to argue.
Yeah. The other trade that happened last month in December was the Los Angeles Kings traded Phillip Danault to the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for a 2026 second-round pick. Again, this trade actually does make quite a bit of sense. The Kings are in the fight. They're right there. They're just not quite there yet. Whereas Montreal is having a significantly better season. They're kind of fighting for that playoff spot right there for the top of their division. So I think this one does make a little more sense in terms of player for pick wise. And then Danault did spend a ton of time in Montreal, so that also kind of does make a difference.
The Kings are trying to secure a little bit more of their future, as good as they have been the last few seasons. Kind of get rid of some of that heavier cap. And Montreal is fighting to make sure they get a playoff spot. They're a decent team this year, but they don't sit in a weak division by any means. So
no, so they got
sense.
And then another one.
And it brings a little, because they're young. It brings a little better.
They're one of the younger
to their team. Montreal's so young.
So I do think that is part of it as well. Next one is also featuring the Columbus Blue Jackets. This time they're being a little more intelligent. They are receiving a 2026 second, a 2027 third, and forward Danton Heinen. No idea who that is. Going to Pittsburgh is Yegor Chinnikov, just a really solid forward. Someone that I think will fit quite nicely there in Pittsburgh. But this makes far more sense for the current state of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
Getting picks for them is always a good idea.
Get picks and unload heavy cap. It's not working. It's not helping.
No. You gotta do something to hopefully set yourself up in the future. And then the last trade, one that happened...
Because they don't have a season this year.
Yeah. Another trade happened pretty recently, is the San Jose Sharks are receiving Laurent Brossoit Nolan Allen in a 2028 7th. And then Chicago is getting Ryan Ellis, Jake Furlong in a 2028 4th. I think both of these teams are kind of, the Sharks are fighting for a playoff spot. The Blackhawks are also kind of fighting for a playoff spot, but neither of them, I don't believe, are currently sitting in one. So for these two teams, I think this makes sense in terms of like it is kind of like a player-player swap. Sometimes that really does happen a lot. Just see if these players needed a different scenery, see if they kind of figure it out with other teams. I don't think either of these teams are worried about their future. They're very young, very talented teams. I think these kinds of moves are just trying to see if they can't maximize potential talent on the roster. And if they can or can't, kind of see what happens. But I don't think it doesn't make sense.
Maximizing potential. It's maximizing potential as well as chemistry. You're hoping that it's just going to flow just a little better. I think the Sharks hold the number 2 wild card spot right now, so that's barely in.
But when you look at it, they're a point ahead of those behind them.
Yeah.
2 points ahead.
It's not far off of missing, so I think you're just hoping for a little extra gas than what they've currently got.
Yeah.
And look at the landscape of the rest of the league. That's hard to compete with. So
yeah, you're not looking at these teams as cup contenders currently.
No. Not right now.
But again, both of these teams are young, have ridiculously good players. So this move does kind of make sense from that standpoint of maybe just a better fit for these other guys makes a little sense. So
better fit. And even if it's not this year, hockey is so much about kind of longevity. And so if next year it gets them closer, you get a little more veteran experience among all of your young players, you accomplish the same thing.
Yeah. It does make some sense. That is it for the trades. I do expect we to get more. I think the trade deadline is in March at some point. But there will be a trade hiatus once the Olympics starts. NHL teams will pretty much not be allowed to do anything during the Olympics. It'll be like a full break. So we might see a couple trades here right before the Olympics starts, just considering that it'll pretty much be like Olympics start and trade deadline. So I do expect...
You don't want players moving while in another country.
Yeah. Would not be fair to literally anybody. So yeah, you're going to have...
The Olympics will mark the end of that.
Yeah.
At least for now.
But yeah, with that coming up, I do expect some more moves. And then obviously, once the Olympic ends, I expect it to pretty much fire off with some deadline moves. But beyond that, nothing much has really changed within hockey since the last time we talked. The standings are relatively the same. In the East, in the Atlantic Division, Tampa Bay is leading the way. They pretty much always are. Red Wings are still right there. Should be interesting. Canadians are right there. Interesting one right now. The Leafs are kind of struggling. I think they're in a wild card spot, but it's very close. Kind of see what happens.
You know, at least now their fans can be realistic with their expectations.
Yeah. So, you know, we'll see.
The Leafs are always tortured by so close yet
so far,
fucking far away.
So, you know, the Leafs. Florida is struggling. They're outside the playoffs, I'm pretty sure. I don't necessarily think I expect it to stay that way. But as we're trending right now, they need to start picking up the pace a little bit. That division as a whole.
They're hopefully getting some healthy players back. Hopefully their roster is going to get a little better in that regard. We kind of talked about it last time. They've been maligned by injury. And hopefully, as they get healthy, we'll see them kind of playing the way we expected.
Yeah, the division as a whole is kind of tight. So we'll see, but it'll be interesting. In the Metro, the Hurricanes have been leading it the whole way. The Islanders have been pretty solid, kind of unexpectedly. Did not think they would be really good this year. And then the other interesting one is the New York Rangers, normally really good team, really struggling this year. Not looking great. Last in that division, even behind Columbus, which is saying something. So we'll kind of see what the Rangers end up doing. My guess is they kind of just implode and blow it up, but we'll see. You never know.
Yeah.
And then in the Pacific, Vegas leading the way, tied with Edmonton. That is kind of what you expect. I don't think either of those two teams are better than the other one. I will say Vegas does have like 3 games in hand, so don't really expect the tie to stay. But both of these teams have been really good historically recently, so I do expect that to kind of stay the same. We'll see with Edmonton. The goaltending situation is still a problem, even if they tried to fix it.
Yeah.
But they do still have Connor McDavid. I don't think they'll slip very far.
No, but they definitely need to figure out their goalie.
Yeah. And then
especially to make a push in the playoffs.
Yeah. Goalies are only so helpful in the regular season. It's come the playoffs that you really need that like stud that you can just throw in the net every game and just kind of forget about it. So we'll kind of see, but that has been Edmonton's problem for McDavid's entire career.
For a while. Yeah.
How they haven't fully attempted to address that, I do not understand. But they haven't. So,
especially with him making the money he makes, which is not very high, and with his value and his worth, you could go get a goalie.
Like a legit
to really maximize
goalie.
His career.
So, unfortunate. And then, nothing really else surprising in that division. Obviously, Sharks are right there. Kraken are up there. The Ducks started out the season really well, but I think they're starting to show that they're a little younger. They've kind of started to slip a little bit.
We're seeing their age.
And then Vancouver is, I'm really not sure what to say of Vancouver, other than they are not very good.
No.
The Quinn Hughes trade really is not looking great for them.
It's not helping. It's not helping.
You know, they did it, so sometimes you just got to do it, I guess. And then the last division we'll talk is the Central Division. Obviously, the Colorado Avalanche still leading the whole league with 74 points, which is pretty insane. Still only have 4...
Has a commanding lead.
Yeah, has a 11-point lead in their division, with the next team being the Stars. But the Avs also have 2 games in hand on the Stars. So, commanding lead in the division, commanding lead over the rest of the NHL. So, kind of the best team. They are ridiculous. Only 4 losses in regulation, 12 total. They've been just kind of insane. It's a little weird.
I don't know that you or I, or a standard Avs fan, would have thought his return would be this uplifting. I think the roster's been built well, but it has for years. I think it's been coached well. I think the real difference is him.
Yeah, and even we're talking about Gabriel Landeskog for those wondering. He's even gotten hurt. He's been injured the last couple of games. Unfortunately, we're pretty sure he broke his ribs. Did not look good. They don't expect him back until after the Olympics. They expect him to play in the Olympics, but they don't expect him back with the team until after, essentially. we'll kind of see. Broken ribs are one. We'll kind of wait and see.
Kind of player dependent, how they feel, risk of puncturing a lung.
But normally, it's 4 to 6 weeks for the NHL. I was curious, so I'm looking this up. Yeah, it's 4 to 6 weeks in the NHL for a standard, like, broken ribs. It depends on how bad you break them. I would expect him back again. Probably play in the Olympics for Team Sweden, but I don't think he'll suit up again until after the Olympics for the Avalanche, is where we're at.
I mean, with the lead they have, it's not really necessary.
No.
Like,
they've been...
And he's still there. He's still around. Whereas when he had his kind of 3-year absence, he around when he could be, but it wasn't the same presence, the same energy.
No, it wasn't.
In the locker room. To have him now and the impact it's having on this is incredible.
Yeah, and then I was curious, so I looked it up. The most points in a single season for an AHL team was set in 2022-2023 by the Boston Bruins, and they had 135 points. They were 65, 12, and 5. So they lost 17 total games. Most of those were in regulation. So currently, the Avs, I want to say, are on pace to do that. I
think they're on pace.
I think they are.
The Olympics might
mess with that.
Mess it up. Yeah.
Because
they have a slightly longer break than they normally would.
They are technically just shy of it. They're on pace to average 134 points. So they are just shy, but again, with the Olympics, with that extended break, we'll kind of see how they come out of it. But they are by far and away the best team. Their goal difference is plus 79. Then next highest is plus 44. And that would be the Tampa Bay Lightning. They easily have the most goals scored and the least goals scored on them. Yeah, they're just kind of ridiculous. It's a little insane. They have yet to lose at home in regulation. They're 19-0-3. They are just one of the best teams we've seen in history.
They're dominating.
So
they're purely dominating right now.
We'll see. Obviously, there's still like half a season left at this point. I think we're just past the halfway mark.
The hope is that peaking right now, and we're going to see kind of a fall off. It's can they maintain this?
Or like if you fall off, can you get back to your peak before the playoffs? We'll kind of see. Just the level of dominance, though, we have not seen pretty much ever.
In a very long time.
So, because I don't even think the Bruins in their season where they set the record looked this dominant. Like, they were winning games, but I felt like a lot of these games were closer. I don't think I'll be able to find their actual goal difference, just so we have an idea. But again, they were really good, but I think we're seeing just a different.
We're just seeing a different level of competitiveness right now.
Damn, that is actually a lot. 3, 1, 2, 4. The Bruins had a goal difference of. Doesn't tell me I have to do the math. Had a goal difference of 127, which is also pretty insane. But yeah, I think just considering everything, this is a level of dominance we might not see for a while. So take it in while you can, enjoy it. If you're an Avs fan, hate it. If you're not, don't really care. But enjoy the level of hockey we're seeing. because I think as a whole, the level of hockey has gone up around the league. I think that is safe to say. So
we're definitely seeing, we're seeing it across so many sports right now. It's just the level of athleticism and competitiveness is going up, and and we're seeing kind of the best that we have in a long time, and it's been great, and it's a lot of fun. And if you watch hockey or you enjoy hockey, this is a great time. If you don't watch hockey, this is a great time to get into it. Honestly.
Yeah, me and Dallas say this all the time, but if you're not into hockey, now is the time to get into hockey, especially during the Olympics. That is,
especially the Olympics. It's great.
That is the time. So, but I think that does it for the NHL this week, this month.
Great. Well, then we will move on, and we will talk college as they had the semifinals of their playoffs. I had to think
about it. 2 games this weekend.
That's like, I don't know the word.
Past weekend for college football. One of which was Oregon, Indiana. That was the first game. Indiana, beat the shit out of Oregon.
The shit out of Oregon. They made Oregon look like a practice squad.
Final score was 56-22. This game was never close. The score at halftime was 35-7. Yeah, it was bad. It just felt like Indiana could do no wrong. And you kind of figured when the first play of the game was a pick six for Indiana that it was going to be a rough day. I will give Oregon this. They threw the pick six on the first play of the game, and then their first drive, like the next drive, was great. They went straight down the field and got the touchdown, and then it just kind of fell apart.
The word for Oregon was mistakes all day long. It was muff punts. It was interceptions. It was pick sixes. When they played well, right, when they didn't have mistakes, they drove the ball, they moved down the field, and they scored. They stayed in it, or they kept putting points on the board. They didn't just go away quietly.
Yeah.
But they couldn't not make the mistakes.
And, man, this Indiana team is very good. So, if you're an Oregon fan, I guess you can take solace in that this is a very good Indiana team that I'm going to guess is going to go undefeated this season. They have just been, I think, the best coached team, best team out there. Really looking forward to the final. But yeah, this Indiana team's pretty nuts. I feel for Dante Moore. He did not have a good game. Threw the interception, had 2 fumbles. I do think he actually made a decision earlier today that he's returning to Oregon for one more season, which is pretty unexpected. I think a lot of people expected him to come out in the draft this year. So that does kind of make the whole quarterback situation this offseason really interesting, because now I think if you ask most analysts and draft people, the second best quarterback in the draft and the only other one other than Mendoza we're taking in the first round is not declaring for the draft. So it's going to make draft season really interesting. We'll kind of see. There will be a quarterback that gets pushed up the board into the first round because there is every season, because a team is going to get desperate. So we'll kind of see who that's going to become. But I do think this makes the whole QB carousel really interesting this year.
Yeah.
And I get it.
I find it an interesting decision. But when you kind of look at the landscape and who needs a quarterback right now,
you're dodging a bullet. You're dodging a bullet.
Because you either are not going to a team that is historically good at drafting quarterbacks. And you have no assurance that you're going to be developed well. And based off that game, you need some developing.
Yeah. Best case scenario for him was that he went to the Cardinals. Worst case scenario is he went to the Raiders or the Jets. So, from that standpoint, I do get it.
Yeah.
If that was part of the decision, I guess fair enough. But at the same time, you were obviously quarterback 2 in this class, so it is a little interesting that you're going to kind of, I don't want to say risk.
You're going to say no?
Risk it for one more year. Because I get it, you might be quarterback 1 in the next class, but at the same time, one injury, one bad season, and you've kind of screwed your stock.
Bad season or great season from Arch, and you're still not number 1.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Because maybe it's not fair, but his last name will help him. If he has a great season this year, it will.
Yeah. The bloodline does favor him.
Yeah.
But
so
we'll see. Again, really tough way for Oregon to go out, so I do think that's another thing going into this. If he's thinking about it that way, one more chance to go get a title, sure. But maybe some revenge along the way. We'll kind of see. But yeah, Indiana, not to take away from anything, is just a really good football team. So we'll really excited to watch them in the final. Who they'll be going up against in the college football playoff final is the Miami Hurricanes as they beat Ole Miss 31-27. This game was significantly better as an actual football game than the Oregon-Indiana one. This was a close game.
Much better.
Well fought on both sides. Ole Miss, I will give them a ton of credit. They fought their asses off. I did not give them enough credit going into this playoff. I thought not having a head coach, just the whole situation that happened there with Lane Kiffin, I thought would kind of prevent them from doing well in this playoff, and they proved me wrong. They were great in this playoff. Miami has looked really good. That defense is awesome. Their offensive line and their run game is really good. And then Carson Beck is a game manager and kind of just makes the plays he needs to make and tries to keep the ball out of danger, and he does it pretty well. So for Miami, that is pretty much the key to success is they run the ball and they play great defense.
Look, I was kind of pulling for Ole Miss. I thought the story would have been great. You went into the playoffs without a head coach. Just young men fighting for it, fighting for each other. I thought it was great. They fought till the very end. They had a chance at the end. Unfortunately, Miami's defense was just better. It was a great game, very competitive. I do think that Miami, Indiana will be competitive. Based off both games, though, I don't think there's a way Miami wins.
I agree. I think, again, Miami's defense is great. They fly around. The game is being played in Miami, so Miami does kind of get a home game out of this. Just how it ended up happening. This game's always played down in Miami. This isn't anything special. But this Indiana football team is one of the best coach teams I've seen in college football in a long time. And they're showing it. They don't turn the ball over. They play really good defense. They run the ball. Mendoza is the Heisman, and he's been playing like it. For Miami to win, it would take quite a bit. And I just don't see Indiana making the mistakes it would take for Miami to win.
Agreed.
So, well, still should be a good game. That game is Monday, January 19th, MLK Day. So, I will definitely be watching that game. Should be fantastic.
100%.
But, yeah. If I had to say Indiana is going to win the game, probably by a touchdown.
I would think at least.
Currently, the line is set at 8.5. So, I think that's aggressive. Rarely do we see the final be a blowout. So I'm still going to take them by a touchdown. I don't think they win by more than that. Could be wrong.
I agree. I think a field goal or I think it's a one-score game. I think Miami's defense is too good to not keep it competitive.
Yeah. So we'll see, but it should be great.
Should be a good game. Yeah, like you said, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Monday. Great time, great game, and the playoffs have been great so far. So hopefully that continues.
Well, I think that does it for college football. So,
awesome. Then we will move on into the NFL.
So, breaking news for the NFL. There's been quite a bit that's happened. Some of the stuff kind of waited till after Black Monday, so we didn't get to it on the last podcast. But
yeah.
To start, the Buccaneers, we've talked about maybe making some changes in their staff. They have fired offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard. This marks, I now believe, the fifth. Yeah, this is the fifth season under Todd Bowles that they're going to have a different offensive coordinator. So we'll kind of see there. I think this decision was made because Todd Bowles had to save his job, which is unfortunate. I think he should have been the one to get fired, but that's a completely different thing. Maybe we'll see. I don't think revolving coordinators is the answer in Tampa Bay, but who knows? Next up, another head coach was fired. Miami Dolphins fired Mike McDaniel on, I want to say, Thursday last week. This firing waited a while. There's some sketchy business happening, I think, in Miami. As this firing waited until a different firing happened. And there are some interesting connections there, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Mike McDaniel out as the head coach of the Dolphins. Had this firing happened earlier in the season, I would not have been surprised. But the fact that it waited this long, I find very interesting. Kind of thought it would happen mid-season. But I'm not surprised it happened. I'm just surprised at the timing it happened.
Yeah, I thought this was coming. I was surprised when it didn't on Black Friday. Black Monday. But now it's weird.
Yeah. Dolphins also, I think, right after that, hired Packers VP of Player Personnel John Eric Sullivan as their new general manager. So, I don't know. I don't really know what that means. I looked into to see if he had any connections with the person I thought was going to go to Miami. I could not find anything that would suggest that.
That I know of.
So, we'll see. We'll see. That is currently who their GM is. He is apparently leading the search. We'll kind of have to wait and see.
The only other thought is this is who they wanted as GM.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll take the job, but you need to deal with this before I get there.
That is entirely possible. That is. Let
He's like,
him
'cause I
pick
don't
his
wanna do it.
coach.
But I want to pick my head coach.
And that's fine. That is a completely fair thing to want as a GM. But yeah, we'll kind of see where the Dolphins go. I don't really expect any head coaching hires to happen for a while. That is just
Not until after the playoffs.
It's just a thing that happens. Maybe a couple will come out before. I expect Harbaugh to probably get his next job here soon. I don't expect him to wait around very long. Maybe Stefanski. We'll kind of see what happens. Next, we mentioned that the Commanders had fired both of their offensive and defensive coordinators. Well, they have made a hire for their offensive coordinator. They are hiring David Blau, the former NFL quarterback, and a guy that's been an assistant here for a while with some teams as their new offensive coordinator. Really cool to see him get a shot. Another former player. Interesting quarterback. Never really did much in his career, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how he does as a coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, he was always kind of a backup that you rooted for. One you watched, you were happy to have on your team, but now to see him get this chance is great, and he's young. He knows quarterback play. So I think that's a good fit for Jaden Daniels. And
I do think it really helps that he was a backup for a long time, and he did kind of spend more time thinking as a coach than as a player. So we'll kind of see what goes there. Next up is the Atlanta Falcons are making some interesting things. They have named Matt Ryan as their president of football. So he will have final authority over all football decisions and help lead the search for the next head coach and GM. So, interesting there. Obviously, Matt Ryan, Falcon legend, great quarterback. We'll kind of see how that goes for him in the president of football role.
And look, really exciting. Not everybody can do that well.
Yeah.
And if you grew up a Denver Broncos fan, you are well aware of that.
Well, to be fair, Elway was originally the GM and then was promoted to president of football as a promotion.
Please stop.
So Matt Ryan went straight to that. So
he was like, I'm not even going to fuck around.
We'll see. There was a couple more firings, although we'll get into. 2 coordinators were fired. The Chargers have fired Greg Roman, their offensive coordinator. I think
Shocker.
Dallas can speak more to that in terms of pretty much that.
I tried to tell you. Like, we're going to talk more about that game, right? And there were other problems there. Play calling. It was on the list. But we're going to talk more about how the Chargers season came to an end. I don't think Greg Roman is consistent enough to be an NFL coordinator. It's just not.
Yeah, that is a fair thing. The other coordinator to be fired was the Eagles' offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo, to literally nobody's surprise, as people were calling for his job week 3.
Weeks ago.
So Eagles make that the choice. Not really surprising. Jalen Hurts continues the streak of never having the same offensive coordinator 2 years in a row. So we'll kind of see what happens there for Jalen Hurts. Kind of feel for the guy at some point.
Yeah, I mean, look, at some point, but also, I just want to say a quick thing, right?
Okay.
If you're that guy, And I feel this same way about Lamar sometimes. I feel this way about a lot of them. At some point, you have to be that guy. And if throwing it down the field is not your strong suit, because it is not, you need to take more control and more command. And you should be enforcing that conversation with your offensive coordinator, or I'm going to be honest with you. You are in charge at the line and in the huddle, right? Like they can give you all the plays they want. You are the one that has to do them, and they're not going to fire you. So,
yeah, that
at some point, take command.
Yeah. There are some other problems with the Eagles, but yeah, that was not great. Kind of see where the Eagles go from here. Maybe during the off season, I have a take about head coaches. Kind of tease that now, but
Okay.
That'll wait. I'm gonna wait for some of the hiring to happen before I give you my take. And then the last of the firings is Mike Tomlin has stepped down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I'm going to guess is the Pittsburgh Steelers' way of being like, you're fired, but you've been here for 19 seasons. We're not going to publicly be like, he's fired, but
we're going to do this the nice way or the hard way.
Yeah.
The upside for the Steelers is they are not responsible for the remainder of his contract. They maybe had a conversation about still paying some of it out, but they do not owe it in all one big chunk. The downside for Tomlin is the Steelers still own the rights to him.
Yes.
If another team wanted to hire him, which we're going to talk about.
Yes.
You would need to either trade for him or you would need the Steelers' permission. So that's kind of how that goes without the firing. I don't think Tomlin is looking for his next coaching job.
I don't either. At least
not for the first year.
For the first year, no. I think he's going to pretty much pull it was Belichick, and go do TV for a while. And
yeah, I think he would be a much better TV personality than Belichick was.
Yeah.
Much better.
So I think that's what's going to happen.
I think he'd be great on TV. I think the other one's nuts. We're not talking about Belichick right now. But I think Mike Tomlin would be great on TV.
Yeah, and I think that's the plan. I think that's what he's going to go do. I don't expect him to go into head coaching again for maybe a while.
No.
We'll see. But I think this is interesting. We're about to have an NFL that has no Belichick. John Harbaugh's no longer on the Ravens. No Tomlin. No Carroll. It's kind of crazy.
Wild. And the craziest part, the only coach to survive the AFC North was fucking Zach Taylor.
And if that tells you anything about how cheap the Bengals are, that's all you need to know.
John Harbaugh, Super Bowl winner, produced an MVP, fuck him. Tomlin, 19 seasons, never had a losing season in the NFL. Bye. Kevin Stefanski, one of the greatest offensive minds in football. Bye. Zach Taylor, that can't get Joe Burrow into the playoffs.
This year.
Still has this job.
Yeah.
Explain it to me. Explain it to me like I'm stupid.
That is one I don't understand. We'll never get. I get the rest of the teams moving on from their coaches. I do.
I understand. I do. I don't love some of the decisions and how they've happened.
But, like, at the end of the day...
But I get it.
I get it. How he still has his job?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think the saddest thing is that I think he has a more recent playoff win than the other three. Ravens won last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
I thought, no. 2 years ago, they were bounced from the AFC, from their one, and then, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. My bad. But still, he has a more recent playoff win than the other two, I think.
Absolutely. Well, no. What year did Flacco win a game for the Browns? Wasn't that...
Did Flacco win one for the Browns? Or did he just get them there?
He might have just gotten them. No, because he won one.
I thought it was Baker was the last one to win a playoff game with the Browns.
Okay, maybe.
Either way, Tomlin was the last on the list because he has not won a playoff game for 9 years.
Yeah, he's won a playoff game in like years.
It's been
almost
9.
A decade.
So
was it 9?
Yeah. Someone said it was 9.
I thought it was 2017. It's 5, 8, 9. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're in 2026.
Yeah. So still, choices are made. That is what we need to discuss. Choices are made.
Choices are made.
That was it for the firings and hirings. There is a couple of injury and other related things. So we'll quickly get into that. Unfortunately, Wildcard weekend was not very nice to some people.
No.
So quickly on the injury thing, the Bills had two of their wide receivers, Gabe Davis and Shavers, both have torn ACLs. So not great. There was a report that Shavers played like half the game with the torn ACL. If that's the case, go you. Fair enough, I guess.
When they think he tore it, and how long he stayed in, yeah.
So, I mean, go you. Fair enough. Would not be me, but
No.
So fair enough, I guess. And then the other one, the major one, unfortunately, George Kittle has torn his Achilles, the 49ers tight end. This one hurt. This one sucked. I might dislike the 49ers, but George Kittle is a great player and one of my favorites to watch. So,
yeah,
this one was really unfortunate. Not a fan of this one. I do think it was on brand that he had the owner send down a bottle of tequila and drank that entire bottle during the game after he tore his Achilles.
It's probably what I would have done.
So, fair. Honestly, fair.
But it's very on brand for him. Very on brand.
So, I respect that. I respect that. But yeah.
And you gotta respect kind of the audacity, right? Because the owner calls him and goes, "Hey, you're in the training room. I know you're hurt. Is there anything I, as the owner of the San Francisco 49ers, can do for you as one of my players?" And that motherfucker has the balls to be like, "Man, I need a bottle of tequila." The owner's like, I got you. On the way. DoorDash expressed his player fucking. And then here comes a coach. I thought it was great. I respected the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Because you not only asked, you had the balls to ask.
Yeah. And I want to say all he sent down was, like, I think it was a bottle of Patron, but I mean, like, still. But, like...
Yeah, I don't think it was, like, $1,000 bottle of tequila, but he was like, this is what I can do.
But he's setting it down, and it's like, fair enough, I guess.
Like, he's like, okay.
I don't know if
Sounds good.
I would tell George Kittle no after tearing his Achilles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he's a star player on your team. He's a great player. He's one of the best tight ends actively in the league, potentially of all time. That is a debate for when he retires. You don't tell him no.
And
you don't pay him nearly enough money to tell him no.
yeah. It's fun. Yeah. It's just a funny thing for me. But that unfortunate. But I do think those were like the real major ones of teams still remaining.
Yeah.
I do know Panthers offensive tackle Ikem Ekwonu tore his patellar tendon during the game, but the Panthers are unfortunately out of the playoffs, so they won't see him until next year. So we'll kind of see. That is a lengthy recovery, so he might miss the entirety of 2026. We'll kind of wait and see. The Panthers also did one other thing, and that was pick up Bryce Young's fifth-year option. That's not that surprising.
No.
I'm surprised more teams...
I think he will get a second contract with them, but I understand wanting to wait a year.
I think a lot of teams would have benefited from doing this, but we won't.
I think more teams should have done it.
Yeah, with their quarterbacks. That is where I was getting at. I think a lot of teams would have benefited from the fifth year and not just giving them the contract.
It's there for a reason, right? The fifth-year option is the benefit of drafting a player, especially a quarterback, in the first round of the draft.
Yes.
So that you then don't have to immediately pay him $50 million a year, especially if he's not worth $50 million a year, because he's not very talented, or maybe he should start reporting, as that's safer. So there are just some options there. There are reasons for that maybe we take advantage of drafting a quarterback in the first round. I'm not a GM, though, so...
Neither am I.
You do you, I guess.
Neither am I. But yeah, that, I do believe, does it, though, for the breaking news of the episode. So,
cool. Well, I'm going to talk briefly about the Baltimore Ravens, and then we're going to get into the first round, wildcard round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Brennan kind of is going to take us through the NFC, and I'm going to take us through the AFC, and we're going to rock with that.
Awesome.
So, starting with the Baltimore Ravens, Steve Bisciotti and Eric DeCosta, their owner and GM, did a very lengthy postseason press conference, and there are just some notes I want to hit on that. Usually Steve Bisciotti is present but not very vocal for that postseason press conference. With John Harbaugh's firing, I respected and appreciated his activeness, his willingness to be there. I respect Bisciotti as an owner. I think he's done a great job with this franchise, and he's always stayed in his lane. And he expressed his desire to continue doing that in this press conference. So we're going to kind of get into it. He was, of course, asked about John Harbaugh and kind of what led to that decision. I do think the coaching decisions Harbaugh wanted to make were a big part of it. I do also think there were concerns about not maximizing Lamar at this point in Lamar's career. He did discuss at length the state of the Ravens' O-line and concerns there. And what that tells me is he's not only concerned about coaching, but also how we're drafting. As the players that were what he said was the players he expected to take that next step at those positions did not. And we saw the consequences of that. So it is a big point in that building and in that franchise. And I appreciate that we recognize their problems. The final kind of note was Lamar. I said this at length when Aaron Rodgers and Saleh were a team and Saleh got fired. I do believe Lamar had a say. I do not think Steve Bisciotti fired his head coach without Lamar at least stamping an approval on that. He is their quarterback. They have every intention of keeping him as their quarterback. In terms of his contract extension, they want to get an extension done in the offseason. Bisciotti made that very clear. He wants it to kind of mirror the last deal. We might see a raise as he got an MVP in that time. When you look at what Josh Allen got, they are also willing to take what his current salary this next year, which is in about $70 million, and divide it into void years if they have to, but it is not what they want. They intend to have him as their quarterback, and they have made it clear Lamar is allowed to be and welcome to be part of this head coach search, but they will not hold off for his benefit. It is his responsibility to get from Florida to Baltimore to be present for those interviews and those conversations if he wants to be in the room for them. As for that concept, I don't care. With some of the names and the big names that I think are available, I would prefer a defensive-minded head coach. Is what I want. I want a Brian Flores. I've seen they interviewed Vance Joseph. I love Joseph on the Broncos. His main problem was he did not have a quarterback. Some of those names I'm a big fan of. Steve Bisciotti was asked about Mike Tomlin. Two things. One, no fucking thank you. No fucking thank you. Okay? Okay. There's that. Two, no fucking thank you. Just go away. Three, I do not think the Steelers would grant the rights to Mike Tomlin to the Baltimore Ravens. That's not real, right? It's not. Bisciotti made a joke that he would do it as long as John Harbaugh went to the Steelers. That's not happening either, right? Like, that's not... That feud and that rivalry runs deep.
Yeah, they ain't flipping.
It's not happening. The Steelers are not going to give access to the only real mind they've had in their building to the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar in his prime. It's not happening. If it did, well, that just goes to show you the intelligence of the Steelers. So that's maybe a separate conversation.
I don't think Tomlin would want to do that. I think that...
I don't think Tomlin wants to coach. I think Tomlin wants to go sit on TV and talk about how stupid people are. That's what I think. Did you watch his post-game press conference? I did. I enjoyed the shit out of it.
I mean, yeah.
I think he would be great on TV. Look, I've never liked the man. There's a Steelers thing. There's a cheating thing that's going on there. There's a lot happening there. I think he would be great on TV. No, I do not think he is the next coach of the Baltimore Ravens. I also do not want him to be the next coach of the Baltimore Ravens, as I am not convinced he's a great head coach. I'm just not. I'm sorry. I'm not. I think he's good. I think to make it to the playoffs every year, have a winning season every year when you don't have a quarterback is talented. I'm not saying it's not. But also, let's prioritize the run game. Let's learn how to develop a quarterback. Let's do a lot of things. And let's learn how to hire an offensive coordinator because that is something I do care about. So, no thank you. Congratulations on your success. Please enjoy retirement. Let's move on. As for the rest of it, it is a very up-in-the-air season. Do I think it will take them long to find a head coach? If it's one of the few I want, it could take a minute. as they are still in the playoffs. And Kevin O'Connell does not seem concerned that Flores is going anywhere. So, we shall see. But I would be happy with a defensive-minded head coach.
Yeah. I expect the Ravens to wait.
I do not think the other thing that Bisciotti said was they will make this decision so intently that they will have years of patience. I will not have years of patience. Lamar's prime does not have years of patience. But it does tell me they intend to make this decision intelligently and thought out.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna rush to hire the first name.
No.
So they can absolutely wait until the playoffs. I would predict that they end up just going with Flores, but I guess we'll see.
I am also okay with Saleh, by the way, because that name's come up. I am okay with Saleh. I do think there's potential there. He's another one. He's a great defensive mind, and that is clear. He has never had a quarterback.
Yeah.
You do not need a quarterback. You do not need to develop a quarterback if you are the next coach of the Baltimore Ravens. What you do need is an offensive coordinator that's going to maximize Lamar Jackson with the added benefit of Derrick Henry. Not think this is now Derrick Henry's team and it's Derrick Henry's led offense. That is not the case. So as long as we understand those two things, I'm happy.
Yeah, I'll be intrigued. I don't think they go offense. That's just a hunch.
I don't think so either, and I don't think Lamar wants an offensive head coach. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think the offense is the problem.
No.
So.
You do need someone to get him out of his motherfucking head when it comes to the Chiefs in the playoffs. Other than that, no.
Yeah, we'll see. The Ravens are one. I think they might be like one of the last ones to hire their coach. Something tells me
we shall see. Bisciotti very much made it clear that it was EDC's decision to make, and it was his relationship to foster. So, as we enter into the draft and scouting reports become that important, it's how much of an input do you want from those things from your head coach. I think someone needs to have an input on this fucking O-line. And my pass rush. Because that'd be great. That'd be great.
Well, on the bright side. If you went
one of the highest picks we've had in a long time. That's the bright side.
That's not where I was going to go with this, but of the defensive names you've mentioned, they both come from a team that have really good offensive minds running it. So in theory, they should be able to bring good offensive minds with them.
Bring someone with them. Yeah. I have hope. I would really like a defensive-minded head coach that understands and is not immune to offense. And that is absolutely contradictory to Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
So
I think your best bet is either Saleh or Flores. There's a couple more names I've heard.
I know Joseph's been interviewed. I kind of don't think he wants to head coach again. I'm going to be perfectly honest.
I don't either. And the other two I can think of both don't have head coach experience. So kind of see.
I do like the idea of someone with head coaching experience.
And you're pretty much looking at.
Of the options that have been mentioned, those three sit at the top of the list. And I think their shortcomings as head coach lie with the quarterbacks they had.
Or other situations.
Or did not have.
I think Flores' situation is also very interesting.
Yes, I also think he's calmed the hell down.
Yeah. That would be my one thing. I guess that's something you got to keep in mind, is you just don't know what people's opinions of him are.
I do not mind that energy directed at my defense because I think Roquan and Hamilton can give it back. I do not want that energy given at my quarterback.
Fair. Fair.
He's not as soft as some of the other quarterbacks that Flores has had to deal with, though, so there's that.
That's also fair.
He does not need placated.
Okay. I mean, yeah. No, I get it.
All right. Well, then we will move on into Wildcard weekend and talk the games of the weekend and how that looks going into the divisional round.
Yeah.
Would you like to kick us off with the NFC, given that
Sure.
that's how the weekend started?
For the NFC, the first game of the weekend was the Rams at the Panthers. The Rams got the win 34-31. Really close game. I was really pulling for the Panthers in this one.
I was pulling for the Panthers.
For a couple of reasons. But really good, close game. I will give the Panthers that. They were holding on. They tried. They tried their best. I do think this Rams team is very good. And I think we're still seeing that this Panthers team has problems. And as much as I think Bryce Young has improved this year, I still am not sure on Bryce Young. I think a lot of this is he's done it, but I don't know how good he's actually been this year. I do think this was a good game from him. That one interception, I don't remember it off the top of my head, honestly, so I don't remember what it looked like. But again,
it was a batted ball, or it was a bobbled.
Oh yeah, there was that one.
Bobbled.
So I'm like, I don't know. That's why I think it's fine for the Panthers to give him that fifth-year option, because I do think he's made really good strides forward. I'm still not sold on him yet. As for the Rams, if I was a Rams fan, I would start to worry about this defense a little bit. It has been kind of a trend that they've been giving up pretty much 30 points a game for the last couple of weeks. So I would definitely be a little concerned there. The Rams offense, I have no concerns about because, Matthew Stafford is the MVP. They have Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
They have Devontae Adams. Their run game's really good. There's almost nothing wrong with that offense, but that defense has struggled the past couple of weeks. So that'll kind of be an interesting thing for the Rams. We did see it again in this game. Obviously, 31 points to the Carolina Panthers is not great. You never know.
And that's twice.
Yeah.
In a season.
To the Panthers.
That you've given up that many to the Panthers. So that's crazy.
So not sure.
So confused.
I respect the Panthers' effort, but at the end of the day, I do just think that the Rams are better, and we really did see it. I do think the one real weakness for this Rams team, other than their defense struggling a little bit, is their special teams is really bad. Having a blocked punt is not good. You really can't afford blocked punts in the playoffs. They kind of got lucky. They got around it. But their special teams has, frankly, prevented them from winning games. We look at the Seahawks game in which the Seahawks came back. It started with a punt return touchdown. So their special teams really has struggled. So we'll kind of see what the Rams do there. But with their defense struggling and their special teams struggling, I don't know if that offense can really carry that.
And that's even after they fired their special teams coordinator. So it's it's not getting better.
It's a shit show. But we'll see. I do think they have a slightly easier opponent in the Bears coming up in the next round. So we'll talk about that game next because that was the next game of the week where the Packers lost to the Bears 31-27. And the reason I say the Packers lost to the Bears, not the Bears beat the Packers, is at
'Cause they
one
lost.
point the Packers were up 21-3 at the half. They went into the fourth quarter up 21-6. How do you fuck this up? 25-point fourth quarter for the Bears to win the game. Frankly, I've never seen a team so good at fucking up in the playoffs as the Green Bay Packers. They just seem to find a way to fuck it up. So, that's, fair enough to the Packers, I guess. If that's what you want to do, go for it. But in all seriousness, how do you let that happen? Because throughout the entire course of the game, they were dominating for 3 quarters. It looked like the Bears could do nothing right, and the Packers could almost do nothing wrong. And then the fourth quarter came around, and really the second half as a whole. And, I don't know how much of it was the Packers getting just really conservative, and how much of it was the Bears really just did step up. But there are questions to be asked either way. I think LaFleur is out of a contract or has 1 more year left. But after that, I was a little surprised that he wasn't fired immediately after. Just with that kind of collapse, it's kind of unacceptable. And this is something that they've been doing not just this season, but they did it earlier in the season to the Bears. They choked away a game. They've done it in past playoffs. They've choked away games. I just don't see the Packers as a reliable team right now. And I get it, they have injuries, but I don't think Micah Parsons keeps you from blowing this game. So I think there's questions to be asked. Jordan Love's stats looked great in the game. 323 yards, 4 touchdowns. You would say he had an awesome game. That fourth quarter, I think you started to see the real problems with Jordan Love. His mechanics and his throwing and his want/need to throw like a fadeaway on every fucking pass is one of the most infuriating things to watch, because you know that when it's on, he's great, but because of those mechanics, he's gonna go cold, and once he goes cold, frankly, they're fucked. So I think that was part of it. On the Bears side, ton of respect for this team. I have given Caleb Williams a lot of shit about mental toughness, mental fortitude. But I think down the stretch of this season, he started to show he has a little more. And I think that is part due to Ben Johnson. He's had a couple really key fourth quarter comebacks this year. That throw on 4th down late in the game was one of the best throws I've seen in a long time. 4th and 7, need to have it. Rolling out on the move like that throw was awesome. I think Caleb Williams has done a lot this year to kind of prove some people wrong. So a lot of respect to the Bears. Ben Johnson, I think, has done a great job as their head coach. To get this Bears team to win the division and make it to the next round, to the divisional, is pretty impressive. Unfortunately, I don't think the Bears make it past the Rams, but this is still a really impressive season from the Bears. And this is kind of the season you wanted to see from Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams in terms of it's a good stepping stone forward for them.
Yeah, I look on the Packers side of things, was having a great first half. And I think LaFleur was out coaching and out dueling Ben Johnson. I think they let off the gas. And when they let off the gas, Jordan Love seems to fuck about, basically. I understand your frustration and anybody's frustration with that fadeaway pass over and over again. But we also should have kept Jacobs going because it was working. I understand to an extent, right, of saying, hey, it's sportsmanship to not get 70 points on a team, but also when it's win or go home,
You've got to bury them.
I don't give a fuck.
Bury them.
Bury them.
Leave no
Because
doubt.
they could have, and they didn't.
And
what we seem to forget is, despite my criticisms and your criticisms and the world's criticisms of Caleb Williams, which have been justified, he is fearless in that fourth quarter. He don't give a fuck.
yeah,
He is going to let it rip, and he makes phenomenal throws. That, like you said, that fourth quarter one, there are 5 Packers and 1 Bear.
and he drops it in the bucket.
Misstep on that throw, game's over the other way. That's just the reality. For everything I've said, for all of my concerns, I think him and Ben Johnson have been a great pair. I think you've seen a massive improvement in terms of his playing ability. He's not taking those sacks anymore. We're seeing it in his sideline behavior, in his facial features, in his body language. You're seeing all of that. But you can't teach, you cannot coach that level of fearlessness. You can't. You either have that or you don't. And the way he does that, as much as I don't like the man, right? It is Patrick Mahomes-esque of we go into that fourth quarter down 20 plus, believing we have a chance, we're going to be fine. And I thought there was potential because of what he's done all season and the way he does not ever think they're out of it. And it's been impressive to see that growth.
Yeah.
I think Chicago is losing their minds at the success they're having at this playoff win. Now Ben Johnson has to outcoach Sean McVay. And I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You can't just light it up in the fourth quarter. They are going to need more throughout a game.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that they're built for that just yet. I think they're on the rise. I think if you're a Bears fan, this was the best possible outcome to your season. And there's a lot to be hopeful for. And there's a lot to be excited about. I think take this win and let it motivate you. I do think the buck stops here.
Yeah. Last quick thing, because I wanted to talk about this. Because we talked about LaFleur, and the reason I was surprised he made it out of this game. And the real moment for me that was just baffling was their second to last drive. So the drive right before the end of the game for them. Because obviously, Chicago gets the ball, they go down the field, they score, but they do leave some time for Green Bay, and then Green Bay fails to score. But the drive before that, Green Bay's up by 3. They get the ball with 4:18 left in the fourth quarter. And here's how it plays out. They go 2-yard pass to Jaden Reed. 34-yard pass. They're now into field goal range. 0-yard run, 12-yard pass. 0-yard run, incompletion. They take a timeout. Okay? Take a timeout. They come out of the timeout and have a 5-yard delay of game penalty. One, how do you take a delay of game outside of a timeout? Like coming out of a timeout? How? How do you let that happen? Okay. The next thing they do is throw an incompletion. On third down, 3rd and 15, they throw an incompletion. McManus misses the field goal. But in a drive with 4:18 left in the football game, with a chance to ice the game, you take 1 minute and 27 seconds off the clock. That is terrible clock management. On a drive that you could have easily milked 2-3 minutes, and possibly even the whole time, had you committed to the run, had you done some things different, had you not had to call the timeouts, had you not been able to pretty much fail to run the ball, like that drive, I think really, if you're a fan of the Packers, that drive had to have drove you crazy. Because seriously, had you just played that drive differently, there would not be much time left on the clock. Like, the simple fact of the matter is, you took 1 minute and 27.
Yeah.
Like, good teams are able to, with 4 minutes on the clock, are able to pretty much run the game out. Maybe leave 1 minute left.
Yeah. At least get it all the way down
to the 2-minute warning.
To the 2-minute warning. So then they have to burn their timeouts on their drive. That they're fighting the clock.
But no, Chicago took 2 timeouts on this. So you didn't even get Chicago to take all 3 timeouts.
Yeah, that's not...
Like, it was just a mispractice in terms of games management at the end of the game. And to me, that drive was kind of the one that I was like, you can't have it. And, like, I get it. It ends in a missed field goal, but you still cannot have a drive like that. That is not good enough. To me, that was the really, like, major problem in terms of, like, the game management side for the Packers. And then the last game in the NFC was the San Francisco 49ers going to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. The 49ers get the win 23-19. Another one that it seemed the Eagles were in control for most of the game. Had the lead going into the fourth quarter and then just kind of gave it up. This is just...
Tell me if you've heard this story before.
You're up 16-10 going into the fourth quarter, and you blow it. It's just a rough one because I think we saw in that first half they were moving the ball well. And this 49ers team is very hurt. You were moving the ball well in the first half. Purdy was throwing really bad interceptions. Your defense was keeping you in it. Like, Barkley was having a decent day on the ground. Hurts looked fine. And then that second half rolled around, and it was like 2 different teams went out there. I do think that's part of the reason Petula was fired, is that second half was just so unbelievably bad. But there has to be more questions of, like, what are we doing here? Mainly because one of your best players is trying to fight the coach on the sideline. And then what's worse is he's fighting him about not getting the football. The football's then thrown his way, and he drops it. So, I mean, like, there's just problems. I saw something kind of funny about the Eagles. Someone brought up the point. What does Nick Sirianni actually do for that team? Because he doesn't call defense. He's an offensive guy that doesn't call plays, doesn't set up scheme, doesn't do anything like that on offense. And he doesn't control the locker room. That's been made abundantly clear by A.J. Brown and that whole situation with him, Jalen Hurts, and kind of the rest of the team. So what is Nick Sirianni there for? Like,
I genuinely, I've been asking this for years, right? Is when you even think before A.J. Brown, the Eagles have always been, right? That's kind of the Eagles' mentality, is grimy, tough, fuck you, right? It's their fans' mentality, it's that city's mentality, it's the team's mentality. But there has to be a level of control within that building and within that locker room. And I do not think Sirianni has the ability to garner that.
Yeah,
I don't think he has the respect. I don't think he has the authority, and I don't think he has the pedigree to stand on.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying that. Look, I think the AJ Brown situation is a mess. I said it then. You should have traded him before the deadline. I don't think this system and this quarterback is conducive to an AJ Brown. Also want to be clear, because I have seen this. No, I do not want him on the Ravens. It's not conducive to my system either.
No, it's not. I don't think it's conducive.
Jalen Hurts is not that kind of quarterback. He's just not. And AJ Brown is very talented. He's very successful. He has his ring. Now he wants a Hall of Fame jacket. He cannot get it without targets and without catches. When you're pissed off, when you're uninvolved, when you're all of these things, and you see wide receivers giving up one-on-one on routes, when you see them drop balls, and then, yeah, get your ass off the fucking field. And it's well within Sirianni's right to get on him about that, but you don't have the respect or the pedigree for AJ Brown to give a shit. So, but this has been their problem all year. So was I surprised that for the 19th time in a year, they had a great half and then couldn't do anything in the second half? No. No, I'm not.
Yeah, and I don't know if anybody's seen the video of the kid after the game.
It was fantastic.
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 Awesome analysis.
Flipping burgers, God.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. The whole Kevin Patullo should be flipping burgers because that's pretty much what he does anyway. One side, he's cooking. He's doing great. And by one half, he's cooking. He's doing great. The other half is raw, fucked up. So I don't know what we're doing.
The little kid after the Eagles game was great. If you haven't seen it, please go watch the video. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. That right there, that's Philadelphia, ladies and gentlemen.
And I don't disagree with the point. But yeah.
No.
Beyond that, the Eagles kind of a shit show. On the 49ers side, I have a ton of respect. I hate them, but I do respect what they've done this season. With all the injuries, no Warner, no Bosa, now they're losing Kittle. Purdy was out for a long stretch. Ayuk hasn't even shown up. Pearsall has been out. For this team to be where they are, I have a ton of respect for that. Still don't like them. But I will say the job Shanahan and Saleh have done this year is pretty incredible. And honestly, probably Shanahan should win Coach of the Year. I have to be honest.
100%.
100%. I think McDonald has an argument for winning 14 games in the hardest division of football. But looking at the injuries the 49ers have dealt with all season, the fact that this team is 12-5 and is going to the divisional round of the playoffs is fucking insane. This team should not even be a playoff team.
When you look at the obstacles they've overcome, the opinions that have been had about Purdy, and for them to be where they are, in spite of all of it, with, I think at one point, the majority of their cap was injured, is impressive.
Yeah.
It was 70%.
The only person.
Massive cap hits were hurt.
The only one. Because I want to say even Trent Williams had injuries throughout the season. The only one that I want to say made it through the whole entirety of the season was Christian McCaffrey.
It was McCaffrey. And that in itself is a miracle.
It's fucking insane. And if I'm the 49ers, I'm praying. The 49ers almost need to win the Super Bowl this year, or else they're going to be royally fucked next year. Because McCaffrey might have stayed healthy, but the likelihood he's healthy 2 years in a row after the kind of work he's been put through this year is not great. So,
I do want to say one thing.
Okay.
I think it is time, and this game proved it for me, to give Brock Purdy more respect. Historically, Kyle Shanahan is terrible in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And from behind.
Yeah.
All of his quarterbacks have roughly the same stat lines. But Brock Purdy dominates in one of them. And that is fourth quarter wins. He is the only quarterback Shanahan has ever had that can accomplish that. For channels like TV channels to continue using Christian McCaffrey as the leader of the 49ers is disrespectful. Purdy has earned it. He has made that team his own. I understand who McCaffrey is. I'm not immune to that. And I know what he's done, and I know his talent level. And by God, if he's very lucky, he's got about 5 more years before his body just will not go anymore.
I don't think he's got that long in the NFL, but sure.
Purdy has earned it. And if you don't believe that, you did not watch this game properly, and you have not watched his career.
Yeah, I'll give you that. This was a very impressive game.
That's my only thing, is I just would like just a little respect for Purdy. Just, if Sam Darnold is the face of the Seahawks, right, then Brock Purdy should be the face of the 49ers.
As a Seahawk fan, I would argue most people don't see Darnold as the face of the Seahawks.
And that's fine. I'm simply talking about on the graphics on Fox, right, when they go, and Christian McCaffrey is taking on Sam Darnold. No, he's not. No, he's not.
Okay, that's fine.
It's Brock Purdy's team. They're paying him $50 million a year. It's his team. Let's act like it. Okay? You want to do that for the Vikings, and you want to talk Justin Jefferson? That's fine. Right? That's fine. We're not there with McCarthy yet. Brock Purdy's earned it. Let's act like it.
Fair enough. But I think that's it for the NFC side.
We're going to go in order of games played. The Buffalo Bills take on the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville, as they did win their division. They were entitled to a home game. Bills get the win, 27-24. This was actually, of the AFC games, this was the most interesting. They kind of went back and forth in terms of getting anything done. It definitely took a while. It was sitting at 3-3, I think, for the first quarter. Both teams' defenses really showed up. It took a while for the offenses to get going. Obviously, there were some injuries to the Bills' wide receiver room. I really thought Jacksonville had this game in the bag. I was kind of rooting for Jacksonville. That's kind of the petty side of me. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
Josh Allen did Josh Allen things. And when they needed to have it, they went and got it. Jacksonville did have a chance. They had the ball back. They just needed the field goal to tie. Unfortunately, a bobbled pass, interception, ends the game. Look, the two real stories of this game are, this is Josh Allen's chance.
Yeah.
Without Lamar, Mahomes, I don't really want to say Burrow, but everybody else is. But Burrow hasn't been in the playoffs in years, so sure.
Without the main characters.
Without them in the playoffs, there's no reason this shouldn't be your year to go get it. You have one of the best O-lines. Even with a hurt wide receiver room, you do still have a deep room. You have great tight ends, a great running back. It's all been going very well in that regard. So offensively, you're not short on talent. And you have Josh Allen, who can run, who can throw, who does all of these things. As for Jacksonville, when you consider how their last season went, that they are on Trevor Lawrence's third head coach to make it to the playoffs and have a good playoff game, which is more than some people can say for their playoff career, and we're going to talk about them next. This is a good thing. It's a good start. You won your division. I think there's things to be hopeful about going into next year. I also want to talk about Liam Cohen's post-game press conference. Because this is fucking ridiculous. Is ridiculous. This woman, who by the way is not a sports reporter, is part of the daily fucking press in Jacksonville. To compliment him on the job he's done was nice, it was wholesome, and it was deserved. And to crap on that in any regard is disgusting. And it's unnecessary. Unnecessary. She should not be fired. There was nothing wrong with what she said. I think, as a head coach, having their season end like that at home, I respected him giving her an opportunity to talk to him. And I respect what she had to say and the way that interaction went. So, let's calm the fuck down. I don't know what's going on with all of the negativity, but it's unnecessary. It was a beautiful moment. It was deserved. I think he appreciated it. And she was right. She was right. For a first season, a first-time head coach, to make it to the playoffs with a home playoff game, and to lose to Josh Allen, the reigning MVP, everybody's motherfucking wonderkin, is impressive. It's impressive. And you lost by 3 points. You didn't have a Josh Allen 5-touchdown game. You went out there and you put something worthy on tape. You gave something to build on. It was all very positive. If you're a Jacksonville fan, I think you should be happy. I think it's them making sure that the league takes notice of them, because for so many years we have ignored Jacksonville. Now we're forced to take notice. I respect it.
On that, because I do have a thing.
Yep.
I think what she said's fine. I get it. I also think that could have been done in private. Because I do think the press conferences need to have some level of question and answer and like objectivity, and not that. But again, I have no problem with it. I don't think it was a bad thing. And if that's what because let's be honest here, the Jags don't let people just into press conferences. It's not what happens.
Yeah.
No team in the NFL is like off the street. You can
Just
be in our
come
press. So that is a member of the media in some capacity. So again, if she felt it was worthy and the Jaguars feel that she's fine doing it, then I don't care. Again, would I rather like a Seattle reporter do that in private? Probably. But again, I have no actual problem with it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that was the moment or the time or the place. But she's not a sports reporter. She was allowed in there. She said what she said. There's no need for the response it's gotten. I thought it was a wholesome moment. Just move on. Just move on. Their season's over. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, like, and if Cohen didn't have a problem with it, I don't care. Like,
yeah.
Is it the best time and place? Probably not. But I don't really give a shit. Like, go for it, I guess.
Fair enough. Moving on. The Patriots take on the Chargers. In New England, Patriots win 16-3 in what I can only describe as one of the most boring football games in the playoffs I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I also would describe it as a WWE throwdown room.
Yeah.
The tail of the game was sacks. Drake May had 5. Justin Herbert had 7. He was bleeding at the end of it. It just was rough. Now, I understand he was going in there with his third string O-line. I understand his O-line was hurt. It was a rough game. It was hard to watch. It was boring. And at 3-3 for 2.5 quarters, it's just not it. It's not it. For the Patriots side of things, I think you could very much see Drake May's playoff nerves. Especially in the beginning. The game's moving faster. Players are moving harder. They're a step ahead. All of these things. You could see it. Missed passes, holding the ball too long. You see some of those rookie mistakes. As for the end of the game, you see him begin to overcome those things. You see him move past them and get comfortable again. Defensively, they very much bailed them out quite a bit. The ability to move forward in the playoffs, I'm not sure. We'll see if those nerves stay gone. We'll see if May is ready for this. A big criticism of their season has been their schedule and been the teams they played. Now, you can't play anybody that's not on your schedule. It doesn't work that way. You're not in control of that.
No.
I don't think this was a real test to see whether or not they matched up against the rest of the playoff field. And I think we're seeing currently the limit of this team. There is talent, but there is youth. Second-year quarterback, new head coach, new offensive and defensive coordinators. A lot of change has occurred. So once again, to make it to this point, to win your division over the Bills is very impressive. Next year, when you have a first-place schedule, that will be the real test, and to see what this team can do and who they can be.
Yeah.
I think it's been a great season. Congratulations to them for pulling it out. Also, kind of F the Patriots, right? Because, go away. But, how? Why?
No,
did he sell his soul? I think Robert Kraft has done something. But, I think we're seeing kind of the maximum on this team going into the playoffs.
My one thing with this game, my one takeaway, is I couldn't help but feel bad for Herbert. And I don't get kind of I get it. This has been Herbert's career of what if. I don't think Herbert was ever going to win this game. I don't even think with a healthy all line he did. But at the end of this game, you could tell he was done. He was taking a fucking beating.
Had his shit.
And one of the stats, Herbert threw the ball 31 times. Okay, that's not a lot by any stretch of that. That's a pretty normal amount. He was pressured on 30 of those 31 dropbacks. I am surprised he managed to do what he did, honestly, because his offensive line was atrocious in this game. And, like,
It was
part of it
atrocious.
was him holding on to the ball too long, sure, whatever. But, like, at the end of the day, once you're hit a couple times and you start having that thought, quarterbacks do one of two things. They either start throwing the ball the minute they get it, or they start holding on to it, try to start playing more like a Superman style of game. And I think we started to see that towards the end, where he was like, "I gotta do something." But yeah, I couldn't help but feel bad towards the end of the game. And then yeah, some of the discourse around him, I don't get. Like, I get it. He has not won a playoff game. But if this is the game that you want to give him the most shit for, I don't understand that. I would like literally any other quarterback to have to stand behind this offensive line and try to go win a football game against that defensive line. I don't think many do.
I agree with you. I fully agree with you. Right. The problem is, and I think the continued problem is, at what point does he run out of excuses?
And I understand. Yet to win a playoff game, all that.
This game was rough, and his O-line did not help him. I do not think his offensive coordinator helped him. I don't quite think there's enough talent around him. I know we want to say that about Josh Allen. I don't think that's fair. I'm not sure that there's enough talent around.
At least Josh Allen has an offensive line.
He does. He has the best offensive line of the unanimous top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL. It's just a fact.
So again, I get it.
But I agree with you in the sense that
I'm like,
this was hard. And I don't know that they walked into a game with a chance. When you look at the defense New England has built, I understand the concern or the criticism that at some point you have to be that guy. When New England turns the ball over and you get it,
yeah, that's fair.
On the 8-yard line,
that I can live with.
You have to be that guy.
But
to give your team a chance, and I'm just not sure that he's ever been that. With all the talent we see, with all of the ability, he never seems to hit that next gear, especially in these moments.
I don't know. I think it's harsh to do it off this game. That's all I'm saying.
And that's why it's not just this game.
I think it's really telling that not only did he get pressured on 30 of his 31 dropbacks, he also led the team in rushing.
Yeah, and that is an offensive coordinator problem.
So, I don't know how much more you wanted him to do. I get it. You didn't put up points on that first drive. But that was the first drive of the game. I don't get it. I don't know. I get it. He's never won a playoff game. I get that there are things with him that you're like, what if? But, for you to sit here and tell me that he's not a good quarterback because of this game, I think is
that's
stupid.
Insane. That's ridiculous.
I still think he's easily in the top 10 of quarterbacks right now.
I think he's in the top 10.
I think it's ridiculous to suggest otherwise. That was my one thing.
That's fair. I think he's got to win a playoff game.
At some point. But, I mean, this one, I think, is unfair to be like, you had to win it. Because, again, I would like you to put literally pretty much any other quarterback in the league in that position, and I don't think very many of them succeed. There might be 2 that get the job done. Yeah. And even then, I'm not sure they do.
Nope, and that's fair. I don't think this game was... I don't think this is the game to be the hill you're going to die on his talent or his capability. I don't think that that's fair.
Yeah, so that was my one thing coming out of this game.
Moving on, the final AFC playoff game and the final Wildcard weekend game was Texans-Steelers. Texans get the win 30-6.
Yeah.
Pretty much the score says it all. Honestly, on the Texans side of the ball, CJ Stroud is having real problems in regression. I know what the score says. A lot of that was defensive led. The missed snaps with his center, the miscues, the mistimings, having
the fumbles,
having
the
all of these
interception.
things go wrong when they shouldn't be. It's not like it's a new center. It's not like
you've played with the center the whole year.
Yeah, you've had this center all year, and to now be having these problems is ridiculous. It's also unacceptable, and it shows a level of regression. I know that his O-line has been a problem, and I'm not saying that hasn't been true. I'm not saying that they don't need upgrades. But to fumble the snap, collect it, and then re-fumble it, is you are too much in your head.
And that interception
was a problem.
Woof.
Was crazy.
That interception was woof. I mean, like, damn.
It's just not there. And I don't know if there's a lack of trust, a lack of confidence, or if it is just genuine regression, as we have seen his play go down since his rookie year.
I don't necessarily think it's regression. I don't think his rookie year was as good as people thought it was. I just think he had a good rookie year compared to how rookies have done at the position. And people were so ready for it. Because I think that's been the thing. Quarterbacks don't tend to have good rookie years.
And we talk about this. A rookie year for a quarterback, when you have a good one, there's the element of nobody has any film on you.
And again,
nobody knows what you're going to be.
The Texans were drafting 2 overall. They had a 4th play schedule. So I'm not saying that his rookie year was bad. It was good. It was a good rookie year.
It wasn't something to like.
But
hail him the next.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady. I just think we have seen. We haven't seen him take that next step.
There's not been a next step. I also think he's showing playoff concerns.
Yes.
I think it's clear in the 2-3 playoff games he's played
3
that there's that, like, jitteriness to his game.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
And I think that's what we were saying.
So again, this is another one. Kind of think the Bucs gonna stop here. The next games they will play will have significantly better offensive talent. Because let's talk about the Steelers.
Yeah, that was.
You get DK Metcalf back.
Grass is greener on the other side.
You throw to him once. He drops it. It's unfortunate. It happens. You do not throw to him again. Only Aaron Rodgers will take his number 1 wide receiver off the board in a playoff game because he got pissy. That's insane. It's insane. I'm not saying I don't understand being a little frustrated with DK when you miss 2 games for a suspension that was wildly unnecessary. And then
Drop the
the
pass.
drop. And you need to catch that ball. But
Then refusing to...
overreacting to then get blown the fuck out at home after barely making the playoffs. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Yeah, that.
Offensively, they could not get anything going with the pass game or the run game. They pretty much shut Williams down. We really saw the depth and the aggressiveness of the Texans defense.
Yeah.
As for the Steelers, you saw it, right? And we see this constantly. We saw this with the Broncos. We saw this with the Patriots for a little while. And we see it with the Steelers now. Is there's a lot of talent. It's a little old, but there's a lot of talent and capability, and I think CJ Stroud did help them. But as the game goes on, and you're on the field for longer, they get tired. They get hurt. They run out of gas. And when the Texans defense is putting up points as well, that's hard to contend with. And it's mentally draining. It's mentally discouraging. This was the outcome I wanted. I'm being perfectly honest with you, right? This is what I wanted. Did not expect it to go like this. And I am not surprised at looking at the oldest, most expensive defensive roster. No quarterback. Once again, not a high enough draft pick to go get one. Not enough quarterbacks coming out of this draft. Aaron Rodgers not knowing what he's going to do from one moment to the next, that Mike Tomlin looked at this team and went, I'm fucking out. I'm not surprised at all.
No.
I think at minimum, this is where the Steelers lie. It's bathed in mediocrity.
Yep.
We made the playoffs. We didn't lose the season, but all of their playoff losses have been 20 plus points.
Yeah.
To what has been considered a phenomenal defense, and it is the oldest and most expensive defense in the NFL. But Cam Hayward and TJ Watt are fucking tired. That's just it. Von Miller was tired. Bobby Wagner has been tired. They are great players and great names. They cannot do it all themselves.
Yeah.
So, not a good game from the Steelers. A better game than I expected defensively from the Texans. I'm going to be honest. I underestimated it a little bit. A weird game for the Texans offense. A weird game.
Yeah. The one thing I have for this game, I'll start on the Texans side. Defense is good. Offense needs some work. Not sure what that's going to do for you going forward. That defense is really legit. Like, I do think it's really good. Even against the Steelers, like, the defense is good. So, I struggle to, like, say they're not going to win in a way. Because when you have a defense this good, I think you could pretty much beat anybody. But I do think they'll struggle if the offense looks like this and Stroud especially looks like this. So we'll kind of see on the Texans. For the Steelers, and more specifically, Aaron Rodgers, I think there is some funny, sad irony that the last throw of Aaron Rodgers' career might be a pick six. And the reason I say that is that I still think he does for quarterbacks that have played like so many games, so many snaps. I don't remember the whole stat. He has like the least amount of pick sixes in history for like quarterbacks that have done certain things. That is something like he was known for, is not throwing pick sixes. So for his last throw in the NFL to possibly be a pick six is kind of funny in a ironic way. I don't know. Like, it just seems about right. But that's how his career would end. Assuming he retires at the end of the year. I kind of think he does. But it is also Aaron Rodgers. He won't make that decision until, check the date, we'll say September this year.
That's fair. I think it's a fitting way for the season to end. Is icing out a wide receiver.
Yeah.
And he did the same thing one of his last years in Green Bay.
Yeah. So, if this is it, yeah, there's some sick irony. But yeah, his last throw of his career is a pick six. Does just make me a little bit happy.
That's fair. That is fair. Alrighty. Well, that does do it for Wildcard Weekend. I'm sorry. Yeah, Wildcard Weekend. To now look ahead, the divisional round of the playoffs is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We'll probably keep the same theme. Is I will talk the AFC, and Brendan will talk the NFC.
Yep.
So to kind of look ahead at that, Saturday at 1:30 Pacific time, 4:30 Eastern time, the Buffalo Bills will take on the Denver Broncos, the number 1 seed, at home in Denver. Denver kind of hoping the week off has them ready, has them healed. We're seeing how a young quarterback will do with the rest versus rust concept.
Yeah.
And how this team will take on Josh Allen. Also, I'm guessing, hoping the altitude's going to help a little bit.
Hopefully.
And Sunday, the Houston Texans will take on the New England Patriots, once again in New England, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. 2 young quarterbacks just kind of duking it out for their first chance to be in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah. Should be.
If anyone but Buffalo is in it, it will be the first time in 25 years that the AFC Championship did not contain Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, or Burrow.
Damn.
So,
unfortunately,
we're seeing a really exciting time for football, honestly.
Yeah. I have another one along with that is kind of funny.
Okay.
Because I was going to mention this like when the playoffs are starting. This is one of the first years in NFL history, like back-to-back seasons, where only one division in football had the same division winner as last year. Every other division in football had different winners. The only division that had the same winner was the NFC East, who for the last 20 years has had different winners, except for this year. So, I don't know what that means in terms of weird, but yeah, that is kind of what we're looking at with football the past couple seasons, though, is the parity is significantly better than in the past. And we're kind of seeing that. So it's been pretty cool. On the NFC side of the bracket, on Saturday, the 5 o'clock game, Pacific time, is the Seattle Seahawks at home taking on the San Francisco 49ers. I'm I would be lying if I wasn't shitting bricks for this game. The reason I'm not necessarily nervous that we're going to lose. I think the Seahawks are going to win. I just think we're better than the 49ers. I think the 49ers have a ton of injuries. I just think the Seahawks are set up to win. The reason I'm nervous, I cannot have a year where we lose to the 49ers in this game. I cannot listen to that until next season. I can't do it. I will want to throw my head through a wall. If I have to listen to 49er fans run up and down the street saying that they beat us when they have all these injuries and all these things, I can't do it. So I need the Seahawks to win this game. I think they will, but I'm still a little nervous. The other game in the NFC is 3:30 Pacific on Sunday. That is the Bears at home against the Rams. I'm absolutely 100% taking the Rams in this game. I think they are just better. I think the Bears are a fun story from this year with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson and kind of the newness of that team. But I just think the Rams are better. So give me the Rams in that one.
I think that as new and as young as all of this is, I think it's going to feel kind of like a flashback. And I think the AFC Championship game will be Broncos-Patriots.
I do too. I think we're about to have a really interesting. I wish it worked out slightly differently, because I think it would have been. No, it would not have been that year. Would it have been? It would have been like 2013 had the Rams and 49ers been flipped essentially.
Yeah.
Where if the Seahawks got to play the 49ers in the NFC Championship and the Broncos and Patriots went, it would pretty much be 2013. Because I want to say that's pretty much what happened. So
I think for Denver, their defense is going to be too much for Josh Allen and the Bills, especially with out a deep wide receiver room. I also think they're really good at stopping the run.
Yeah.
As for New England and Houston, I do think Houston's defense is going to be a problem for Drake May. I think the Patriots defense will hold up better than the Steelers did. And that is going to kind of be
the difference.
The straw, I guess.
I kind of agree.
I do, and I think Drake May is better than CJ Stroud.
I think the Texans' defense is better than any group on the field. But I think the Patriots as a complete football team are better.
Better than the Texans.
So I'm going to take the Patriots. Bills, Broncos. I'm going to take the Broncos. I struggle because, again, I think the Bills and Josh Allen realize that this is their best chance. So they're going to give it their best. And I'm nervous about this Broncos team. But at the end of the day, they have been winning games. And they're at home. I think there's a chance for them in this game. So I'm going to take the Broncos. So I got Broncos, Patriots.
And then I guess for the other side, I am going to take Seattle. As fantastic as I think San Francisco's season has been, I think that defense is just going to prove too much, especially with the injuries they've had and continue to have. I think Seattle comes out on top. I'm going to take the Rams over the Bears. Really what I'm doing is taking McVay over Ben Johnson.
I'm taking McVay and Stafford over Johnson and Williams.
And I don't think they will make the same mistake the Packers made. I don't think they will let up. I don't think they will take their foot off the gas. So even if Chicago has a great fourth quarter, I don't know that it will be enough.
Yeah.
So,
as a Seahawk fan, I'm taking the Seahawks, obviously. Pretty much obligated to.
yeah.
I'm also taking the Rams. I think this was almost worst case fucking scenario for the Seahawks. Having to go through not one, but two divisional opponents to get to the Super Bowl sucks.
That's rough.
So not looking forward to that, but they got to win this game first. So
you got to start here.
Not even going to worry about next game. They've got to beat the 49ers. I cannot live if the Seahawks lose to the 49ers. I can't do it. I do not want to have to listen to it. I don't want to have to deal with it. The Seahawks have to win. Cannot stress that enough. This would be like the Ravens losing to the Steelers without TJ Watt.
It's fair.
Can't do it. So, yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I do think that does it for our look ahead.
Yeah. I think that does it for us this week. As we said, we're probably not going to be looking at other sports until we get to the Olympics. So until then, we're kind of just doing football and hockey and basketball. Next week, we will talk basketball. Should be pretty fun. We're kind of getting back into that flow after kind of the hiatus for the holidays. So looking forward to that. But beyond that, like, subscribe, comment. Let us know if there's anything specific you want us to talk about with basketball. I know currently there hasn't been a ton of news in basketball. So if there's anything specific, let us know. We'll try to cover it. Other than that, how's the playoffs going for you in football? Who do you have making it out of the divisional? Let us know that. And with all that being said, yeah, just make sure to like, subscribe, comment. With all that being said, I've been Brendan.
And I've been Dallas.
And this has been Flox Net Sports Podcast. Thank y'all for joining.
Bye.